Waterloo, a name etched in history, forever marking a turning point. A battle that decided the fate of nations, a clash of titans that would echo through the ages. On June 18, 1815, the fate of Europe hung in the balance, teetering on the edge of a knife. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of the French, faced his enemies on the fields of Belgium, determined to secure his legacy. Napoleon, a master of war, had risen from humble beginnings to conquer much of Europe, his name synonymous with military genius. His ambition knew no bounds, driving him to reshape the world in his image. His victories inspired awe, and his enemies trembled before him, fearing the unstoppable force he seemed to be. Yet at Waterloo, his star began to fall, the tides of fortune turning against him. The Duke of Wellington, leading the British and their allies, was a stubborn foe, unyielding and resolute. The battle raged, a bloody dance of muskets and cannons, a symphony of destruction that would decide the future. By day's end, Napoleon's hopes lay shattered, his dreams of empire crushed beneath the weight of defeat. June 18, 1815, the Battle of Waterloo marks the end of Napoleon's reign. But what if the day had gone differently? Let's explore an alternate Europe under the iron grip of Napoleon Bonaparte. History, as we know it, would be unrecognizable, a different world shaped by a different victor. The sun beat down on the battlefield, smoke filled the air, a choking haze. Yet, amidst the chaos, Napoleon saw opportunity. His Imperial Guard, veterans of 1,000 battles, stood ready. With a roar, they surged forward. Wellington's lines wavered. They had fought bravely, but the French were relentless. The tide was turning. Napoleon, sensing victory, pressed his advantage. His cavalry thundered across the field, scattering the enemy. Panic spread through the Allied ranks. Their lines broke, and they fled. Wellington, his face ashen, could only watch as his army crumbled. The day was Napoleon's. News of the victory at Waterloo spread like wildfire. In Paris, church bells rang out, and crowds filled the streets. Napoleon, hailed as a conquering hero, returned to the capital. His exile on Elba was forgotten. He was once more the Emperor of the French. Across Europe, monarchs trembled. Their worst fears had been realized. Napoleon, the ogre of their nightmares, was back. He had cheated death and defeat. His ambition, far from being extinguished, burned brighter than ever. The old alliances forged against him were quickly rekindled. Austria, Prussia, Russia. They all knew what was at stake. They had to stop Napoleon before he could consolidate his power. But this time, victory would not come easily. If you find exploring these alternate worlds fascinating, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and activate notifications so you never miss a new alternate history story. Napoleon, ever the pragmatist, knew he could not simply return to the old ways. He needed to secure his position, both at home and abroad. He embarked on a whirlwind of reforms, designed to strengthen France and cement his legacy. He reorganized the French army, instilling it with a new sense of purpose. He reformed the education system, promoting meritocracy and innovation. He invested heavily in infrastructure, building roads, canals, and bridges. But his most lasting legacy would be the spread of the Napoleonic Code. This comprehensive legal system, based on principles of equality and merit, was implemented across the French Empire. It was a radical departure from the old feudal order, and it would have a profound impact on the development of Europe. From the bustling streets of Paris, where merchants and artisans thrived, to the ancient squares of Prague, adorned with historical buildings and rich cultural heritage, the Napoleonic Code took root. Gone were the arbitrary privileges of birth and rank, which had long dictated the social order. In their place stood a system where all citizens, regardless of their background, were equal before the law. This new legal framework swept away centuries of tradition, challenging the old ways and bringing about a new era of justice. It enshrined the rights of property owners, ensuring that their holdings were protected by law, guaranteed freedom of religion, allowing diverse beliefs to flourish, and established a fairer system of taxation where contributions were based on one's ability to pay. While not without its flaws, the Napoleonic Code represented a significant step forward in the development of modern legal systems, influencing countless nations. Its influence extended far beyond the borders of France, reaching into the very fabric of European society. Even those who opposed Napoleon on the battlefield found themselves adopting aspects of his legal code, recognizing its value. It was a testament to the enduring power of his ideas, which continue to shape legal thought to this day. Napoleon's return to power and his subsequent victories sent shockwaves across Europe. While some welcomed his reforms, many others saw him as a tyrant, a threat to their way of life. In the shadows, resistance began to flicker. In the German states, intellectuals and students dreamt of a unified Germany, free from French domination. In Spain, guerrillas waged a brutal war of attrition against the French occupiers. And in Russia, Tsar Alexander I, once Napoleon's friend, now prepared for war. These pockets of resistance, scattered and disorganized, posed little threat to Napoleon's rule. However, they represented a growing sense of unease, a simmering resentment that would soon boil over. The European powers, alarmed by Napoleon's resurgence, attempted to form a new coalition against him. But their unity was fragile, riven by old rivalries and suspicions. Austria and Prussia, still smarting from their previous defeats, hesitated to commit their full strength. Britain, under the watchful eye of Foreign Secretary Castlereagh, remained committed to Napoleon's downfall. But they were wary of another costly land war. They preferred to support their allies with money and supplies rather than troops. This lack of unity proved fatal. Napoleon, with his customary speed and decisiveness, exploited their divisions. He marched east, defeating the Austrians at the Battle of Dresden and the Prussians at the Battle of Lutzen. The coalition, its armies shattered, was on the verge of collapse. With the fall of Vienna and Berlin, Napoleon stood as the undisputed master of Europe. His empire stretched from the Atlantic coast to the borders of Russia. His word was law from the North Sea to the Mediterranean. Yet his triumph was not absolute. The war had taken its toll. France was exhausted, its manpower depleted. The occupied territories, while under French control, remained restive. And in the east, a new and more dangerous threat was emerging. Russia, vast and unforgiving, would prove to be Napoleon's undoing in our timeline. But in this altered history, Napoleon, having learned from his past mistakes, chose a different path. He sought to neutralize the Russian threat through diplomacy, not war. Napoleon, secure in his power, turned his attention to consolidating his empire. He promoted trade and industry, ushering in an era of unprecedented economic growth. He patronized the arts and sciences, making Paris the intellectual capital of the world. Under his rule, France experienced a golden age of innovation and progress. Engineers built new railroads and steamships, connecting the far-flung corners of the empire. Scientists made groundbreaking discoveries in medicine, chemistry, and physics. Writers, artists, and musicians flourished in this vibrant cultural landscape. The French language became the language of diplomacy and commerce, spoken in the courts and markets of Europe. French fashion, French cuisine, French literature, all became highly influential, shaping the tastes and trends of the continent. History is not written in stone. It is a living, breathing entity constantly evolving with each passing moment. It is a tapestry woven from countless threads, each decision, each event shaping the course of human affairs. Every choice, no matter how small, contributes to the grand design of our shared past. The Battle of Waterloo was one such thread, a pivotal moment that determined the destiny of Europe. It was a clash of titans, a decisive encounter that echoed through the annals of history. Had Napoleon emerged victorious, the world as we know it would be a vastly different place. The ripple effects of his triumph would have altered the geopolitical landscape in unimaginable ways. The French Empire, under his iron hand, might have endured for generations, shaping the political, social, and cultural landscape of the continent. The very fabric of European society would have been woven differently. The Industrial Revolution, fueled by French innovation and ambition, might have unfolded at a different pace and in different ways. The advancements in technology and industry could have taken a unique trajectory, influencing global progress. These are but glimpses into an alternate past, a tantalizing glimpse of what might have been. They remind us of the fragility of our reality and the myriad possibilities that lie just beyond the veil of history. It serves as a reminder that history is not inevitable, but rather a product of choices made, battles fought, and destinies forged. Each moment is a crossroads, and the paths we take shape the world we leave behind. Napoleon's victory at Waterloo would have radically transformed history. Every event, every decision has the power to reshape our world in unexpected ways. What other alternatives would you like to explore? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for traveling with us in the realm of possibilities. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications for our next videos. See you soon.